It's like the diamonds. This one's from my mom's.
Okay. So, hi, we're with Empowered Prosthetics. We're building prosthetic arms for amputees. Our eventual goal is to have these prosthetic arms put on kids and guide them through a whole process where we empower them, put an arm on them, and get them back to the way they were living before. At the end of this semester, our goal is to get an arm on an adult amputee, and we need to have this discussion with you because we're a nonprofit operating with all UF students on UF's campus, and we'd like to see what direction you want to take. You want the University of Florida to take with us. Our inputs are student time, and our inputs are, I'm going to say it this way, plastic, the use of 3D printers, electronics, and student time. What we output is obviously the arms for adults and eventually kids, and experience for UF students. Our organization can provide that first stepping stone for students to make their way from the educational environment to the working world. Right now, I'm a business major, Jeremy is a mechanical engineering major, Juan's in chemical engineering, and Robin is a chemistry PhD. And we're all taking a big part in this because we're working on all different aspects and in all different directions, not just to build this arm, but to do everything we can do to give students experience and to build this arm the best we possibly can. And if you don't have any questions at the moment, Jeremy can get into exactly how that all works out.
So what Empowered Prosthetics does is we're creating a product, 3D printed prosthetic limb. It's a functional prosthetic limb in that it's powered by motors and EMG sensors, which basically just are sensors that read electrical signals in the existing muscles that you have, and it enables an amputee to control different grip patterns and do day-to-day tasks that they normally wouldn't be able to do with the traditional prostheses. That's just aesthetic. What makes us different than other traditional prosthetic companies or other traditional prosthetic organizations is that our product, like today, if you needed a prosthetic limb that was functional and could you could use it to do day-to-day tasks, it would cost upwards of $100,000. Whereas what we're manufacturing is going to be less than $1,000. So we're cutting down costs tremendously, and we're going to be making the prosthetic limb much more accessible, so that everybody can has the ability to rehabilitate after an amputation. To the point where they could function in society and function and live a happy and fulfilling life. Right now, like 90% of people don't have the means to get a prosthetic limb, and we want to change the status quo by allowing everybody who needs this medically necessary technology and life necessary technology to be able to get it. So that's what we're doing as a company. Not as a company. In the mission statement for the University of Florida is about enabling students to lead and influence the next generation and beyond for economic, cultural, and societal benefit. And what we at EP are doing is a literal embodiment of US mission statement, and that we are trying to bring a product to the masses regardless of their economic background. And we're doing it specifically to improve the societal standing of people that are disabled because they aren't able to get them in the current climate of the prosthetics industry, and that's what we want to change. And Robin's going to talk about how we're going to help integrate an interdisciplinary model for students to work together.
Yeah, so ultimately we work with the community on campus. So we work with faculty members who have their knowledge of doing research and approaching problems. We work with young students who are eager to learn and teach them how to apply their knowledge, what they learn from classes, into a project with a goal. And this whole project has a passion, and we want to teach students how to transform your knowledge into a passion of your project. And what we do here, we do is interdisciplinary studies. That means that we work with business people together, with people in the science field, but also people, for example, multimedia design, who build for us a professional web page that we are happy to share with you and your staff members. And ultimately, we want to reach out to the community with the people here and bring it off campus to reach out. And the goal is that all levels are involved. And then can I go into already like the closing or just?
Yeah, we're only at 5
part?
minutes 30 seconds right now, so I feel like you should just.
Good.
Yeah, you got time.
Yeah, I just want to name the first things first, like. Yeah.
I could also close at this point and say, at this point, we could potentially use, and we could come up with these action items. We could potentially use a liaison or someone to guide us through this process as we are on new ground. I don't think I've said the new ground thing.
Yeah.
As we are on new ground, we are a nonprofit. We're not just a design team, so we do need to. We would like to discuss this with you, create transparency, and we think that a single person who could guide us through this would be a good way to go about it.
A mentor?
A mentor would be a good word to use. So I'm thinking transparency, mentor.
I think whoever starts,
new
like
ground.
if you start, sorry to interrupt you, but if you start this, you should say like the transition should be like, so why we're here is like, because that's gonna like create dialogue after you talk.
Right. So I'm going to say transparency, new ground, mentor.
Also talk about like connections to the grant expert, and then like is that going to be you that's talking about that? Robin, did you talk about the grant expert?
Yeah, I'm just typing my .c that I forgot to type this again.
What sounds better? How can EP benefit UF, or how EP can benefit UF?
What? Say it again?
How can
Oh, yeah,
EP benefit UF, or how EP can benefit UF? I want to make these two the same. What?
The first
This is
one.
on the agenda, right?
Yeah, I want to make these two like almost the same, like these 2 points. And they went away. Damn it, Robin. A and B.
Oh, what can you do for EP and what can EP do for UF?
Yeah, something like the same, but just.
We should just say how can we have a mutually beneficial relationship.
No, I'm saying like there's 2 points, like how come we help UF and how come UF help us, but I want to make it like word it better.
What can EP do for UF and then vice versa? That's
Well,
pretty clear.
I don't know.
But then it looks like if you quickly look over it, it's the same.
Yeah.
And now you like
Alright, yeah.
benefit, do for each other. So the last point that I need to make clear is that I can explain the experience that I have with my students and working in Dr. Lowe's lab.
Yeah, you gotta drop that name.
Yeah, so I just added it in.
You gotta drop that name.
And then I can go over into the opportunities for like learn over, and then you go back, Austin, into like, the mission statement aligns with UF and the community. And then ultimately the last period, I don't know if Austin, if you want to start with that, like what can UF do for EP? And then we have here 3 points, like the most importantly is like, bringing in contact with the right people, the workspace and guidance and like grant funding, and then recognition.
So is that going to be you closing or is that going to be Austin closing?
So Austin is probably gonna follow up with like summarizing how can EP benefit UF.
So I open, kind of summarize, close, kind of summarize.
Yeah.
Okay, I like
and then
that.
probably you can start off with like, what do we need? Like
Me?
you're like, yeah, I can also
So
do it.
You would be doing 5B.
Yeah,
And you would be
5B.
doing 5A.
Yeah.
Maybe if
can we
you're
put
worried
my
about the wording on the agenda, you can actually phrase it like that, right? Like what do we need, or what does EP need from UF?
I would, where it says assisting with work, meeting space, and guidance and grants funding opportunities, I would just separate those.
2 different points.
Yeah, because they're both super important
Yeah.
and not related.
Right. And we just need to make clear we ultimately want to have someone to bring us in contact with. We don't ask you for specific grant funding and opportunities.
But you are the right person to decide what part of the part of the university is this nonprofit or potential future nonprofits going to start in and build itself in, and ultimately who's going to decide if it's time for us to grow beyond UF and leave.
Generally talking about like how to build a partnership, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you ask like why do you come
Good
to
words,
me
yeah.
for this, there are people from grant funding on campus, then we can clearly explain. We've tried to get with several people in contact, but people are not really sure how to handle this situation and bounce off to other people, and we would like to get from your point of view the right people assigned, and they know that if you feel this is relevant enough, and make him decide if it's relevant enough.
I really like what you just said, saying that we've gone to other people, but because it's such a like unique thing that you've got going on here, we just need something that's like officially backed by you.
When we practice, can we have one of you guys ask us that question, and then we'll practice responding to
Yeah.
kind of like a
We're
why
gonna
did you
think
come to
of
me?
questions while you guys are-
Okay, awesome. Just make sure that's one of them.
what do you need from me?
Yeah, like what is,
What do you want?
yeah, like that, and then like
That's the
what?
nicer way to say that.
Yeah, and like we'll discuss what exactly this person is going to be doing for us, and why we need this person.
I think that on your agenda for Empowered Prosthetics, you should have like a very basic description of what it is, so that if he looks back at this agenda, he can remember like kind of
That's a good point.
of the company.
We can do like just the upper thing of like, what is Empowered Prosthetics and print on the back.
Oh yeah. Do that.
What did you say?
Like the from what is AP, who are we, why do we stand, we can put it like on the back of the agenda, but it's not that he's like kind of read
Yeah.
everything. Because you
Something-
don't want to have too much text that he's got distracted.
Something definitely like more visual than text based on the back.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when we transition from my opening to you when we're explaining what you're doing, we should have that 3D STL file, and just like with the STL file of like what we're gonna build with the EP logo on it, and like you slide that in front of him, maybe printed, maybe on the computer. But yeah, just be like, okay, when you're about to speak, put that in front of him so he sees the
Just like
image,
that.
and I just said this is what we're gonna build, and then you say this is what it has all this, and yeah. So
So Austin, you're gonna do 1 and 2, Jeremy's gonna do 3, I will do 4, and 1 comes before already to introduce himself, and then the closing, you start with A and you start with closing B,
Okay.
Perfect.
and I can answer any questions related if it's appropriate.
I think it's a good layout that you have there with who's saying what.
Like, we all know a lot, but it's good to like have your own niche.
Yeah.
Otherwise we all are too excited or too shy.
Okay.
Okay, so are you
I think you need to get my charger.
ready to run through it?
That's where we do the one now.
I'm gonna. I'll be back.
Everyone leaves.
No.
Okay, so now
Everybody's leaving.
Where do you go? It's been an hour already.